Hello, I'm TV Guide's top scooper, Michael Ausiello. You know, I've been watching Movie Talk, and they could certainly use some pointers from me, the master vodcaster. So when I spoke to them, let's just say cooler heads prevailed. Better yet, why don't I let them tell you themselves?
Hi, I'm Ken Fox.
And I'm Maitland McDonagh. Welcome to a special Halloween edition of TVGuide.com's Movie Talk. We love the horror classics. Frankenstein, Night of the Living Dead, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Suspiria, Hellraiser. You know the bloody drill. But there are more things in heaven and earth than A Nightmare on Elm Street and Friday the 13th. So get ready to make the acquaintance of some seriously offbeat horrors. Just keep telling yourself, these are not your father's scary movies. Black Sheep, okay? Here's the thing. Killer Sheep.
Yes.
Get it out of your system. It
Yes.
sounds funny, but you know what? It's really good. Because basically, it's a spin on the birds. So this guy, who of course is afraid of sheep, comes to a sheep farm, family sheep farm. He's going to sell his half of it to his brother, so he never has to have anything to do with sheep again.
Right.
Unfortunately, his brother has been experimenting with sheep DNA.
And if anything goes wrong with the sheep DNA, there's hell to pay.
And these sheep are seriously pissed. And let me tell you, you have never seen a cute, woolly sheep with its little feet together.
They are cute.
They look so damn scary.
Well, one of my sort of hidden, forgotten, offbeat horrors is Zedder, which is an Italian film from
Which has had like
1983.
100 terrible titles.
It's had a bunch of terrible titles, and it's directed by one of the greatly named directors of all time, Pupi Avati. And
How do you think he got through grammar school?
I don't know, but I give him a lot of credit. He made two really great horror movies.
Absolutely. House of the Laughing Windows,
which is a
creepy.
terrific, yeah. And this one, Zedder, which is a little bit of a spin on Pet Sematary, where these kind of like psychic explorers have discovered something called K-zones.
Not K-holes.
Not K-holes, no, these are K-zones. And they're sort of portals through which the dead can come back to life and just scare the crap out of the living, which is what happens in this movie. Now, I should warn everyone that there's a really terrible English dubbed version out there.
Oh my God, it's horrible.
It's horrible, and it actually
Horrible.
ruins the great mood that Pupi sets up throughout this film. So if you can find the original Italian language version on DVD, that's the one to watch.
Absolutely. Now, Limora, A Child's Tale of the Supernatural, is a movie that I first saw back in the 70s. Never saw it again. Nobody had ever heard of it. I really began to feel like those people who write to me at Ask Flick Chick, that I had somehow dreamed this movie.
Right.
And then suddenly it came out on VHS in 1998, and it's spooky.
It's a very spooky little fairy tale type horror movie
Yeah.
that I really love.
And it's set in the 1930s. It's about a young girl, Lila Lee, who sings in the church choir. Her voice is so beautiful, people come from miles around to hear
Angel.
her. She's a little angel, though she's played by Cheryl Rainbow
Who
Smith.
did some not so angelic things on screen
Yes.
after she made Limora.
I'm afraid so. But she is fantastic in this movie as Lila, because she really is slightly otherworldly. She seems kind of sheltered and naive, which is what Lila's supposed to be, except that she winds up in this house of horror.
It's a great little film.
It's a great little film.
Yeah. Now, do you remember Blood on Satan's Claw?
It was
Go ahead.
always on Channel 9
Oh,
when I was a
always,
kid.
yes.
And there's a farmer plowing his field, and he turns
Right.
up something. You don't
Right.
quite see what it is, but you know
He
it's
doesn't
nasty.
know what it is either, and he just digs it up. And it's some kind of deformed skeleton. It's got some kind of fur on it.
And it's got a
a big
claw.
eye, and it's really nasty. And what it does is it kind of unleashes this kind of like demonic possession of the town that basically affects the children. And it's
Especially
a terrific,
the young women, oddly
especially the
enough.
young women who get naked an awful lot in this movie, which is something I didn't see on the $1 Million Movie. And
Nor did I.
No, and I was surprised to see it in the actual full-length cut. But it's by no means an exploitative movie. I think it's a really creepy little horror film.
It sort of
that-
reminds me of Witchfinder General.
It does,
in
and
that
it
way.
came right after, and I think it was meant to be a companion piece to Witchfinder General, another terrific movie that we'll put on our
fantastic
list
movie.
next year.
Absolutely.
It has a way of really getting under your skin and staying there.
Do you remember The Crazies?
Oh, I absolutely remember.
Okay, this is a movie that George Romero did after Night of the Living Dead. It takes place in a small town. A plane goes down in the mountains outside of it, little tiny transport plane, turns out to be a military transport. But by the time the military, who have accidentally mislaid a biological weapon that's codenamed Trixie, which
Right.
was the original name of the film, codenamed Trixie.
Crazies is much better.
It is better because it tells you what codename Trixie
Trixie's is
does.
on the Honeymooners.
Yeah. Whereas codename Trixie has really two results when people get it. Okay. It either drives them insane and then and murderously insane, and then they die.
Right.
Or it drives them murderously insane, and they don't die.
Right.
Okay. Either way, it's
They
a really
become
bad
the
thing.
crazies. It's
And
very much
they
like
never
28
recover.
Days Later.
It's astonishingly like 28
And it
Days
holds
Later.
up really well after all these years.
It's a dark little movie, and I really recommend it highly.
Hold on here.
What?
Just oozing just a little bit.
Oh,
Ah, there.
thank you.
Well, Ganja and Hess is a movie that I had heard about for years and never got to see until it finally got a release on DVD. And it's a movie that was almost missing. I think the only 35mm print of it was hidden away at the Museum of Modern Art for safekeeping for many, many years.
And that's actually where I saw it.
What a fascinating movie.
Absolutely.
I mean, not a standard horror movie, and not the standard blaxploitation kind of grindhouse thing, which is what it was regarded as.
Right, it's
at
not
the time.
Blackula.
No, but the original 2-hour cut of Ganja and Hess had been cut by a full half hour and then re-released on 42nd Street as something called, what was it called? Blood Couple. And then it was later called something Double Possession, and then Black Evil. I mean, it went under all of these different titles.
You can
and
just
all of
chart.
these different versions.
You can chart the exploitation movies that were popular by what it got renamed.
By what they got. Yeah,
oh,
exactly.
Double Possession.
Right, but it's a really fascinating film and one of the great African American films, I think, of the 1970s. Never mentions the word vampire, but it's a great vampire movie.